Here we go, everybody.
Down. I always forget.
Quiet on the set.
I always forget.
How now, brown cow? How now, brown cow? San Diego.
San Diego.
San Diego. Hello, everybody. Well, you know we're live, right?
No.
I pressed the button.
Oh, thank you.
That's why you
so
said
much.
that. Yes, I pressed the button, unbeknownst to her, but beknownst to me. Welcome. Glad you're here. Thank you for being here on this fine Wednesday evening.
Yes.
Y'all are the coolest people on the face of the earth, whether you're here right now on a Wednesday evening or watching it later on. Thanks for being here. Lurking. Who's that? Like they're at home. What are you doing? I am lurking. That's just kind of how I picture it.
Okay.
All right. So that's just how I picture things.
Okie dokie.
So glad you're here. Thanks for being here. We have no special subject tonight, so you're not going to hear me rambling on for the 20 to 30 minutes that I sometimes do. I know you love that because then you get to look like this the whole time. Yes. Okay.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree.
And maybe secretly in your head you're like, I don't agree with that statement at all.
Totally got that all wrong.
Man, he just said something so dumb. Should I call him out on it or should I just let him keep talking stupid things? Yep. That's sometimes what I know is going on in your brain.
Occasionally.
I'm sure. So yes, thank you so much for being here. We today are going to be, we'll be answering some questions, hanging out.
Yeah.
I guess we're going to have a fish keeping party. Fish keeping party. That's what I called tonight because it just seemed like that was the thing to do at this time of year. So that's what's going on. So what things we got going on for videos this week? I can never, it's only Wednesday, but it feels like the beginning of the week is a long time ago. And then I can barely remember what we did. So Monday, what did we do on Monday? It was fun.
Yeah. Beta. It has to do with beta.
the beta mistakes.
I was gonna say 2 words.
Two words, a bunch of syllables, putting the wrong emphasis on the syllable. So yeah, we did a video that I thought was kind of important because we saw a lot of stuff popping up, like some questions that we get from time to time. Things still pop up in some of the groups that I lurk in, but I very rarely ever pipe in because I just don't. But there was a lot of things about betas that people still have questions about. So we put a video out like that on Monday. And then today, the Small Scape, your channel, you did what?
I got to talk about yet another one of my favorite plants. Yes, very exciting. Corkscrew bell. It's a I think it's an extremely underrated plant because it's just like, it's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous plant. It will make your tank look like $1,000,000, even if that's the only single stinking plant in your tank.
So have you had that plant? Because I did not realize I knew you had gotten a little bit, but is it just growing in that tank? Is that how you got so much?
It has grown a very decent amount since August because I got my first bunch.
That's what I thought.
From LRB. He was kind enough to share, and I had my first batch, which I've been stocking it for some time, but I'm stocking a lot of plants that I don't have. And yes, it's growing very nicely because it spreads via runners, so it's just like popping up everywhere.
You're going to have to start putting in some of the other tanks because it is pretty cool. I was a little bit jealous as I was looking at the video. I'm like, how come I don't have any of this in my tank? This
I know.
It'll
grow.
Right.
It's got to get taller for your tanks.
All right.
Right now, I'm sharing my dwarf umbulia, so be happy with that.
Okay, I'm happy with that.
I haven't charged you yet either.
Well, that's fine because I've given you a lot of fish. I'm sure we can work out some kind of a deal where you owe me about $6,000.
I go down the basement like Little Red Riding Hood with my basket, like,
I'll take those, and then I don't realize it until I'm looking at a tank and be like, what's different about this tank? Oh wait, I'm missing half my crypts, and where are my fish? And then I just walk over to the Nano Nook and I'm like,
there they are.
There's the crypts, and I don't really want to take them back out of that tank and plant them in there because it's not my thing. And there are my fish, and she's got it in an Aquascape tank, and I'm not tearing that thing apart getting them back, so she knows what she's doing. So yeah, the corkscrew valve was today. Members only video will be out tomorrow. I've got an interesting topic I want to share tomorrow in the members only video. Something I learned at the OCA, and one of the things I've learned that I can share with everybody is when you're around people who have been keeping fish longer than you've been alive, sometimes it's best just to listen. Just listen and listen to them talk because it's amazing the things that people learn in their own little groups that are common knowledge amongst small groups, and it never gets any further out. I think the reality is these clubs are supposed to transfer information from one generation to the next, and I think they do a pretty good job of that. But I think that knowledge needs to be distributed, dispersed a little bit more. So I learned a cool thing when we were at the OCA a couple weeks ago. Yeah, you probably do, but shh, you're not allowed to tell.
I won't.
Yeah, so that's tomorrow, and then Friday. I'm really excited.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not going to tell you why. I'm just excited
Right.
because it's going to be Friday. No, on Friday we have the second video coming out for the simple fish keeping, at least the second video for us, and it's a cool topic. And we got even more people to participate. I'm running out of room. So if you remember on the thumbnail for the first one we did, I put everybody's picture like in a little circle.
Bubble.
A little bubble, yeah. And it was pretty, I was running out of room there. And then I had to add like 1, 2, 3, at least 3 more creators to that. And I think you'll be happy with who participated this time around in addition to everybody else. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I am really running out of space. So in the last video, if I get any more people to participate, I don't know what I'm going to do. Either the faces are going to be really tiny, or I'm just going to be like, just check out the people when they're in here. But Friday's video is a simple fish keeping video. That's going to be cool.
I want to get in on that. Just so you know, my questions are going to be coming.
Oh, you're gonna make videos.
Oh yeah.
Instead of just answer the questions.
I'm posing my own questions, and these creators better be ready, because they're going to be small scapes questions.
Oh boy. And I've actually done, just so you know, there are a bunch more coming out. I know KG Tropicals, I said at least 3 more coming out.
Sweet.
That I answered questions for 3 more of those, and I've answered questions for at least 6 or 7 additional videos that are coming out on other channels. So
nobody would ask the questions I'm going to ask.
All right. Well, we look forward to that. That'll be cool. And then Saturday, you've got a pretty cool video coming out, I believe, on the small scape.
Yeah.
So we've got a whole bunch of stuff here, and I want to get to some of the things. Thank you, everybody. I guess that's the other news that we can probably share. I mean, it's already been all throughout the chat here. What is today?
It's December 1st.
Yeah.
We are into the month of December. Countdown to Christmas begins.
There you go. That's what today was. So happy December 1st to everybody. Anything else that you want to share?
It's our anniversary. It's our 20-year anniversary.
Yeah,
we're really old.
I was just going to say that makes me feel extremely old, that we have been married for not 1, not 2, not 10 or 15, but 20 years.
Doesn't it feel like we just had our 15-year anniversary?
I don't remember 15 years. In fact, truth be told, I think you or I forget from time to time, like on the off year.
Maybe in the off years.
Yeah, I mean, this one we didn't, because that would be bad. Could you imagine? We wake up like in a couple of days and like, oh my gosh, weren't we supposed to do something that's 20 years? Like, that's the thing. Yeah. So yeah, today is 20 years of marriage. It just seems like a lifetime ago. I was a ute back then. I mean, people don't probably know this, but you're actually 4 years older than I am. I know she doesn't look like it. She looks like 4 years younger than me.
It's 3.5.
It's 4. It's basically 4.
3.5 years.
Most of the year, it's 4.
Except on our marriage certificate, it just happened to be in between there, so it was 4 years on paper.
It's always basically 4 years.
Sometimes 3.
But mostly 4. So anyway, yeah, we were younglings back then. And now I'm an oldling, so that's just the way life goes. So thank you for everybody who is wishing us happy anniversary and all of that good stuff. Appreciate it. And I saw some things coming through here. Hold on a second. I saw...
You're scrolling really fast.
Well, because I saw the things, and then we're going to get to some questions here too. Fish Fan 20 Gallon Long, thank you so much for the super chat. My goodness, thank you.
Thank you.
Happy 20th anniversary. Here's some money to treat you out for a dinner for 2. Eat on fancy china. 20th anniversary gift is china. It is?
Oh, is it?
Okay, didn't know that. Sweet. God bless your union of lives.
Aww,
thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That's awesome. Thank you. Wayne's Aquatics, thank you for the super chat. Oh my goodness. Happy anniversary. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Scrolling on down. Michael Phillips. Wow, you hit the 12 months?
What? And happy anniversary to you, Michael.
Yeah, it looks like we're sharing an anniversary. I mean, ours is marriage and yours is being a prime timer, primetime partner for a whole year. Wow. That's really cool. Thank you for that. Happy anniversary to you both. It's been one fun year as a primetime member. Well worth the $5 a month. Well, I'm glad you think so. Thank you. Because
if not, let them know.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out ways to maximize your primetime partner, primate, primetimer.
how much better it would be if I could actually see the videos?
Well, the one way that you could see them is to actually be in them. What do you think?
Oh.
For everybody yeah, you
well,
could
so
be.
Haven't I been in a couple, like, unboxing?
This thing's been going for like 2 years, and you've been in like 2 videos. We do one every week.
Probably enough, right?
That's like 1%, if my math serves me correctly. What is this? Skippity
Skeep Skeep.
That's cool.
I love that name.
Thank you very much for becoming a prime timer, primetime partner. We have many names for our little group. Appreciate you being here. Finn Wiggles is 12 months as well. Wow, we've got a lot of
happy anniversary
people.
to you.
I need corkscrew valve.
Do you, Finn? Oh, Finn, you would love it.
Yeah, it's
so magnificent. It really is.
It's pretty cool.
In that tank, I could sit and watch for hours because you have the green neon swimming, and then the corkscrew valve, and then the magenta mystery snails.
Yeah. They don't really swim very fast. They just kind of slide on by.
No, they like kind of crawl.
They slide.
Creep.
They're creepy, crawly sliders. That's what mystery snails do.
Yes, you do need it.
It's cool stuff. Victoria Lee creates. Oh my gosh, the shirts.
Oh,
yeah, that's right. We're wearing
we're matching.
Our limited edition.
We're matching
Christmas shirts. Thank you, by the way, for everybody who has purchased the limited edition Christmas shirts. I think we're getting pretty close on some of the sizes to running out. So there's still time, but I think we're getting close on the popular sizes. Yeah. Yep. So, but that was the whole idea. So thank you for that. For those of you who have decided to represent the holidays
in the red, white, and green.
Prime time, Geophagus wearing the hat. So, Bonnie, member for 10 months. Thank you for being here for all those 10 months. Happy anniversary, Jason and Joanna and Jason, my favorite fishy couple. Well, thank you. Appreciate you being here. Thank you for that. Let's see here. Kyle says, I really enjoy the information you give. I appreciate that. So let's see here. Do we have any questions? The name of the game here is hopefully throughout the course of the week you write some stuff down and remember it and be like, I have to go to the Primetime Aquatics live stream on Wednesday, and hopefully we'll get to answer some questions today. So that would be the cool thing to do. Let's see here. Now I'm scrolling on. You're supposed to be looking at questions, and I don't think you were doing that, were you?
Sorry. No, I was kind of zoning out.
Yeah. So IHSP's tank try. My mom is nearly 2 years older than my dad. I wonder if that's the secret. I don't know if it's a secret, but
maybe
it could be. Who knows? Maybe we've stumbled on something.
Could be.
Some kind of crazy thing. Oh my goodness, Finn Wiggles! Thank you so much for the super sticker rocket.
Oh my gosh! Look at that!
It's the #1 fan jumping man, but on a rocket. That's pretty cool.
That's like the cutest
That's awesome.
Ever.
Skippity skip. Thank you for the super chat. Happy anniversary. Appreciate it. Thank you. Shannon Burnett.
Oh, hi, Shannon.
7 months. That's really cool. Hi, everyone. So glad to catch the live stream tonight. I hope everyone is having a great night. Happy anniversary, J&J. Congrats. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. That is so cool. All right, let's get to some fish keeping stuff here. Let's see here. John says, best fish for staghorn algae in a planted tank with angels, common pleco, and Congo tetras. What's staghorn algae? Why don't I know that name? Do you know that name?
Staghorn algae?
Yeah.
I don't have any.
All right, well, look it up.
Okay.
Because I'm not really a proper name when it comes to the algae thing, so I just know, all right, it's green. So here's how I classify the algae, by the way. Soft green algae, super easy. Hard green algae, for those of you who have the hard green algae on your glass, I think that's actually my least favorite, because once that stuff gets on the glass, it's basically really hard to get off, and the only way you can do that is with a razor blade. And then you have the brown algae. That stuff is really simple. That just scrapes right off. You can use your finger for that. Green hair algae can be kind of a pain because stuff connects to everything, attaches to everything, the plants and the rocks and wood and all that stuff, and you've got to basically twirl that like a spaghetti and pull it off that way. And when you pull it off, I found the best thing for green hair is Florida flagfish. Additionally, we have red algae in our fish room, and I love red algae. I refuse to scrape that off, and sometimes it gets on the front of the glass. I'm like, oh, red algae, why are you making me do this? I have to scrape it off because it's on the front. But when it's on the rocks and stuff and it gets by the gravel, love it. And then, of course, you've got the blackbeard algae. That,
your friend and mine.
yeah, that can be a pain, especially if you've got a planted tank. But I don't mind it because we've learned how to keep it under control. So what did you find out here?
Well, it gets its name because it has kind of like antlers, like stags would. So I don't think
it kind of looks like a bunch of hydra stuck together.
Kind of.
So I wish I really knew, but I've never had that algae as far as I know. So I have no idea. So the first question I answer is basically a non-answer. Sorry about that.
That was deep.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I read a question. I have no idea how to get rid of that stuff or what eats it. But it kind of looks cool, I'm not going to lie. So that's up there with the red algae in my book of things I might not even try to get rid of just because why not? Tesla Killdozer, thank you very much for the super chat. Happy anniversary, Jason and Joanna. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thanks for being here.
Look at that. That's an even amount from Tesla. It's
Yeah.
a perfectly even amount.
Oh, wow.
Did you notice that means a lot too because it's always random.
Oh, 20.
But it's 20. Get it?
I get it.
That's what I'm here for.
Now I understand.
Thank
Took me
you.
a minute. Tactical Jackalope member for 3 months.
Woohoo!
Awesome. One of my female tiger barbs dropped her eggs and she is ferociously defending them. She is keeping the other 11 at bay. They've got a short memory. Their little heads are so tiny. They typically don't protect their eggs, so that's a very unusual thing. I've never seen barbs or tetras even do that before. So usually with the barbs and the tetras, and that would go for rainbow fish too, like the egg scatterers that just like eggs all over the place. A lot of people will put Java moss or a spawning mop in a tank, and then when the eggs attach, they'll take that spawning mop or the Java moss and just chuck it in like a 10-gallon tank that's been cycled and everything. It's got a cycled sponge filter and let the fry hatch in there. But the fry, with most of the barbs, the rainbow fish, the tetras, you're looking at a day or two, usually a couple days before the eggs hatch. And if the eggs survive, the fry won't. They're very, very small. And most of the time, they're going to get eaten unless, I suppose, there was a lot of heavy coverage where the fry could stay in the moss and pick off that and get to a size where they're not going to get picked off themselves. So, yeah, that's pretty interesting. Do you have anything you'd like to talk about, young lady?
Let's see. No.
Okay. Naomi says, I set up a 10-gallon planted tank last Friday. How long should I wait to add my fish? I am planning on a sparkling dwarf gourami and some black neon tetras. Well, that's cool. That'll be a fun combination in a 10-gallon. So It depends. If you have cycled filter media in the filter, then you could probably add fish relatively soon. I guess it depends on how cycled the media is and where it's coming from. So if it was coming from, let's say, I had a sponge and a hang-on back filter in a 20-gallon long that was fairly heavily stocked, then I probably wouldn't have any hesitation to throw that sponge in my hang-on back filter in my 10-gallon and probably add most of those fish at that point, especially when it's a planted tank. If you don't have cycled media and or you're not using something like Fritzheim 7, something that's got a biological starter where you've got the nitrifying bacteria, the fact that you've got the plants in there, I'd probably wait a couple weeks, wait until the plants have established themselves, you see them start growing, maybe some new leaves, and then you're going to want to add fish very, very slowly to that tank. So maybe it's the sparkling gourami that you add, maybe it's some of the black neons, but not all that you plan to add later on. But two things we always do with a new tank. Usually we do both, but cycled filter media from another tank and or the Fritzheim 7 will speed up that process. So it just depends on how patient you want to be. If you don't have those things, wait a few weeks. That's the safest thing to do before you start adding fish, and just add them slowly. What say you?
Matthew does stuff.
Matthew does stuff.
Horrible news.
No. I don't want to hear horrible news. What happened?
Did you know that Dollar Tree is raising their prices by 25 cents now? It's going to be the $1.25 store.
I saw that. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you're going to have to revise your videos.
Dollar Tree should let me know this, like, right out the gate.
You're going to have to redo all your videos. The $1.25 store tree.
I was getting ready to do a walkabout over there, and I'm just now going to have to bring more money.
Yeah, 25 cents, if you even have those anymore.
I wonder if the quantities will get smaller, too.
Shrinkflation. See, that's the other thing, too. Not only do prices go up, but that's a real thing, by the way. If you haven't researched that when it comes to inflationary pressures in the economy. Not only do you have monetary inflation, which leads to price inflation, then you also have shrinkflation, which is you're getting less for the money.
Yeah.
And that's a little bit more sneaky because that one's not as easy to see.
Especially
Don't get me
when
on
it's like a bag of chips.
Yeah.
Now
Don't
you
get me
like
on the
5
economy
chips
stuff
there.
because I studied that. I think I mentioned this a few months ago. I tend to get hooked on things and get really super hyperly obsessed. Would you say that's a fair statement?
I would say both of us have the same inclination to be completely obsessed or not interested at all.
Yeah, so
But
one of the
you're
things I got
cray-cray.
super, hyperly obsessed about was macroeconomics over the last year and a half. And when I say that, I mean literally I probably read, 20 large books on macroeconomics and personal finance. And I don't know how many hundreds of hours of YouTube videos I watch, but it's, the stuff that's in my brain now, it's in there. It pushed out a lot of other important things, I'm sure.
I did the same, but it wasn't on that subject. Mine was like glitter.
Yeah, that's also useful. Those are good life things, like how to use glitter.
You need to know which kind to use.
Yeah. Fishes. Angels and ballast sharks at a 125 ? Angels, yes. I think that would be cool. There are a couple reasons why I would not do the ballast sharks. And we've had ballast sharks before. One reason is they're going to be too active. Way too active for angelfish. And so angelfish, when they're young, they're kind of like little puppies and they're super excited to eat and they do all kinds of crazy little puppy dog angelfish sort of things. And then they get older and they start to chill out a little bit and they probably will not appreciate the ballast sharks, which are constantly on the move. Reason number 2, as the fish age and as we get to full grown, the ballast sharks will greatly outcompete the angels for food. I know when they're small, angels go crazy for food. But again, as they get older, they tend to be a little bit less crazy about the food. And the ballast sharks are still pow, 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 pow. They're going all over the place for the food. Third reason, and I think this might be the most important. Ballast sharks, when full grown, and I have seen them full grown. In fact, we were just at Ohio Fish Rescue.
I saw 'em.
The ballast sharks were in a 1,800 gallon, and I'm going to show you this tank here in the not too distant future. They were in an 1,800 gallon tank that was 20 feet long. It was, I believe, 4 feet wide and maybe 3 feet deep. So it was a massive, massive tank. There was a group of ballast sharks in there, and they, no joke, were probably 13 or 14 inches. So they're going to get huge. Way, way, way too big for a 6-foot tank, in my opinion, of almost any size. The fourth reason is the ballast sharks should be kept in groups, similar to, let's say you had, which would be a better alternative, like a roseline shark. You could keep 10 or 12 roseline sharks in a 125, and by the way, way more color, a little bit smaller, a little bit less crazy. The ballast sharks, when you put 10 or 12 of them in a tank, trust me, you want that 20-foot tank. So my suggestion would be, angels are going to be awesome in a 125. Take a look at the roseline shark, otherwise known as the Denison barb, and I promise you, you're going to look at these fish and be like, oh, those are cool. And they'll probably max out at like 6 or 7 inches. They stay much, much smaller overall. Not quite so crazy. That could be a really cool combo. What say you?
Tasha13, OMG, I made it live, I think. Hi from Australia. Hi, Australia, and good afternoon.
Welcome. Welcome to the
afternoon there.
live Primetime Aquatics live stream. Well, that made a lot of noise. So that was pretty squeaky. Sorry about that for all of you who don't like that noise. Could freak people out a little bit. Uh-oh. What do we got here?
Uh-oh. What?
I can't read this because my eyes. Janan? I'm sorry. My eyes are shot. Help! I saw that though. Help!
Okay.
My 10-gallon is overwhelmed by ram's horn. They are attacking the assassins. Whoa!
Really?
You got a full-on snail war going in your 10-gallon tank, huh?
All you need are some pea puffers. There you go.
All you need is love. Love is all you need. Now, if someone's going to have that. Somebody is going to have that song stuck in their brain the rest of the night. Okay, anyway, so enough of that. I didn't want to sing it because that's not how I roll. So what are we going to do? We've got a bunch of ram's horn snails, and you got some assassin snails in there. The assassin snails are going to win that battle, trust me. They will, over time, start taking care of the ram's horn snails. However, understand that the assassin snails will also replicate, and if there's a lot of ram's horn snails in there and a lot of food, you're basically just exchanging a lot of ram's horn for a lot of assassin snails. The advantage to that is, one, the assassin snails, in my opinion, look a lot cooler. And two, often, especially if you have sand, the assassin snails like to go right into the sand.
Yep.
And so you generally don't see them as much. Now, we do want to take care of the root cause, right? Because ram's horn snails, when their populations get crazy, it's almost 100% of the time due to too much food in the substrate. So if there is an easy way, and this can be hard sometimes because if you've got shrimp, or you've got some type of, I don't know, like a bunch of otocinclus, and you're trying to feed those, but the ram's horn snails are just kind of getting to the food in a little bit before the shrimp do. I recognize that can be a little bit more complicated. However, if we can really control the amount of food that's falling into the substrate, that will help. Gravel vacuuming will help if possible. So if you've got sand, that usually might mean, okay, I've got to get the uneaten food off the surface. Maybe there's a little fish detritus off the surface, so you're not going to necessarily go into the sand, but you're going to kind of swirl around to make sure that you can get some of that stuff up. The gravel vacuuming and just regular gravel, that can just go right in and it'll suck up uneaten food, it'll suck up fish waste. If it's a planted tank, I don't remember if it was or not. If it's not, that's much easier. If it's a planted tank, I tend not to gravel vac those nearly as aggressively. I might touch the gravel vac into the gravel, but not go like full on. But food is the best way to control your ram's horn population.
Yeah.
Right there. Let me see it.
Oh.
I knew I saw this thing. The other thing is, you were doing a video.
Yeah.
I actually did a video, 2 videos on how to remove snails, by the way. One of them was a really cool, it was a Sera branded, S-E-R-A.
Yeah.
I don't know why they took it off the market. It was the best snail trap on the face of the earth. When I did that video and I showed the results, there were people accusing me of putting the snails in the trap. Oh. There were hundreds of snails. I'm like, so really, you actually think I took a snail trap, hand-picked hundreds of snails and packed them all in there for the sake of a video? Why would I do that? But anyway, the Sera trap was amazing. It had these little gates where the snails could go in, but they could never come out. And this is a very different contraption. I'm not even really sure.
Do you want to know? All right, so you put and these are very inexpensive. So this is one of my favorite things.
Oh, so the food goes in the center.
So the food goes in. You can get packages that actually have the food, but it's really just algae wafers. And it's got these little slats in here that lets them, like smell it and hey. So they kind of go on there. It doesn't trap them, though. It is not a trap. It's just an attractor. And it's kind of like a little dish. So when you see a whole bunch of them on there, you just pull the whole thing, dump them out wherever you want them, and then put it back in.
Yeah. So it'll remove some of them if you do this a couple times a day.
Great for nano
certainly
tanks.
helps. And you did was it the Amazon video you just did that was in there? So the link is in there and everything, so you can check that out. So that'll help. Certainly will help.
You get like a 4-pack too, so you can have all your tanks.
Yeah. Let's see here. Bronx says, should I remove my Purigen from my canister during dosing ICMEDs? Yes. Remove all the carbon, the Purigen, remove that stuff, and let the meds do their job. The media, no. So like your filter floss, your sponges, your bio rings, leave all that in there. But the Purigen and all that, now the thing you have to be careful of is at that point, if you're removing that stuff to treat for ick and you put it back in your filter and it hasn't thoroughly dried, then you're reintroducing the ick into your tank. So just make sure that you're aware of that situation here. Okay. And the chat, like always, is completely stuck. Papa Shrimp is here. That's so cool. All right, let's see here. I'm scrolling around here. JD Cichlids, thank you for the super chat. If my water clarity is great, what is the point of chemical filtration? Seems more biomedia would be much better to fill the filter space. That's a great question. Okay, so if my water clarity is great, it's fantastic.
It's clear.
It's clear. It is as clear as mud. No, it's clear. Okay, what is the point of chemical filtration? Seems more biomedia would be much better to fill the filter space. I tend to agree with you. We have over 80 tanks now because you set up that little one over there, and I think there's a couple more now floating around in the fish room. I don't know if they're temporary or tempa permanent or what's going on there, but we have, out of those 80-something tanks, exactly zero chemical filtration. In fact, we haven't run any type of chemical filtration. So to be clear, chemical filtration is the addition of things like the Purigen, like the carbon, where it's going to help neutralize certain chemicals or potentially trap certain chemicals. I don't use it. I never have. I've never felt the need to. Does it have its place? Yeah. So, like for instance, with the ick treatment thing, after the fish are treated completely, if you want to neutralize that stuff, put the carbon back in, that kind of thing, that can help. But for us, we haven't found it to be necessary. I suppose if you were on a well and you had some heavy metals coming through the water, that might be useful. But outside of that, in a regular aquarium, I've never used it. I just use, in all my filters, it's filter floss and it's sponge. I don't even use the bio rings. And again, partly because I rely a lot on the surfaces within the aquarium. As long as there's water flowing in the aquarium, the microbes are going to colonize every oxygenated surface in that tank. And so the tank itself becomes your filter, not just the filter media. So your plants, the surface, I'm talking about surfaces of plants, fake or real, rocks, wood, your plastic decorations. As long as the microbes can coat those surfaces, they're going to do the nitrification process. So because of that, my filtration, when I run hang-on backs, just sponge, just filter floss, and then we've got the sponge filters in most of our tanks exclusively. So I tend to agree with that statement. So, you looked at me expectantly like you had something you wanted to say.
Yeah, I did, but now I forgot.
Wow. See, that's what happens. That's where I'm going to be 4 years from now. Did I just say that? I did. I was just playing.
See, if you were my sister, I'd go like that.
Oh, that would be mean.
No.
That would be really mean.
It doesn't phase
her. All right,
her
wait,
at
hold
all.
on. Can I ask the question to our Primetime Aquatics community about this water bottle? Can I ask it?
Well, if Eli confirmed it already.
Yeah, but Eli, I don't know if he knows.
Right,
So I have to ask a question of the community here. Maybe it is. So I lost my water bottle a couple weeks ago, and I went on Amazon. I was super excited to get a new one, and so I found this one, and it was really cool. And it's called a Hydro Flask. And I'm like, this is not promoting this thing. I just thought it was a cool looking water bottle.
Yeah,
but then,
it's got this thing. That's kind of cool. You can carry it.
But then my teenage kids told me, you better not bring that to the gym. And they said it's not for me.
So it's kind of like a girl's brand? Or?
I don't know. So does anybody know?
I'm not familiar with the brand.
I just thought the bottle was cool. And at this point, being almost a half a century old, I don't really care. I'm like, it's a cool looking bottle. Whatever. But they laughed at me.
Maybe it's like a yoga thing.
I don't know. I just think it's cool. Look, it's got a guy with some hair on it. I mean, it was expensive, I'll tell you that. I don't know if it's worth the money, but I'm like, I want aluminum. I don't want to drink out of plastic water.
Well, it doesn't matter what it is because you're only going to have it for so long.
I'll lose it
water
anyway.
bottle,
yeah.
You drop it, you break it,
well, this one,
it.
That's the nice thing is if I drop this one, it's not plastic, so it's not going to be spewing water all over the floor. So I was thinking, at least I thought I was thinking, but maybe I think I was thinking that I wasn't.
Well, Slam Boy says, my bottle has a switchblade straw. You had one of those for a while?
I specifically don't do the straw because then it just takes too much work. So well, it does. And then plus I use the water bottle and I pour it to make my after workout drink. And yeah, it's just the things that we have to deal with. All right, so what are we seeing here? Are we seeing what?
Well, I just have to say this. Cheryl. Hi, Cheryl. She said, I don't have boys, but my 19-year-old loves Hydro Flask bottles. That's all we have so far. Cheryl doesn't have any boys. She's got girls.
Okay.
So her 19-year-old girl loves Hydro Flask.
All right.
That's all we have right
whatever.
now. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm just going to... Okay, so Alice B says it's very popular with Gen Z girl. All right, so I'm telling you right now, I'm drinking out of my bottle because I'm thirsty.
Okay.
All right, but thanks. Appreciate the feedback there.
It's good.
Let's see here. I am scrolling around here. Let's see. You got any questions you want to pipe in?
Oh, you want to hear a funny story? You want to hear a funny story?
I do want to hear a funny story.
I was afraid I was going to forget it. All right. You guys are going to love this. So Thanksgiving, right? Actually, we got a turkey Luke brought it from his work. He got turkey
Yeah.
because I'm not really big on cooking a whole turkey. It stresses me out. It's just kind of like I don't know. It's just I don't know. Anyways, cooked the turkey. I put it in the oven, and then I realized that I did not have a particular item. Well, I did. I do have like 10 of them. Turkey basters. I have like 10 of them in the house, all different kinds. I've done videos where, oh, this one's a really nice one, and you get the fancy one. It's got brush in it and stuff. Not one of them did I actually put in the kitchen to use for the kitchen. So, yeah, I had no turkey baster. That's my funny story.
Is that why the turkey was so dry?
That is exactly why it was so dry, because I just said, oh, screw it.
And I actually say that lovingly because I am a weird person and I like turkey that's a little bit on the drier side. So I was like, oh, this is not like Christmas vacation dry, but it wasn't that bad. If it's a little on the dry side, I prefer that.
But the other really weird thing is my dad does not like turkey. He's never liked turkey.
And he liked that turkey.
And he was like, that turkey was really good.
All right. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of comments here that it's basically the bottle is for teenage girls and they really like it.
Okay.
So that's okay.
I can make you a label.
Girls, well, whatever. I'm drinking that. I like the color. Look at this color. It's a cool color.
It's a solid kind of navy blue. It's really nice.
Yeah. So whatever. So I'm going to embrace it.
You can bring that Gen Z girls brand into middle-aged men.
No, I don't know about that. That could just be all weird. All right, Tasha13, thank you so much for this super chat. Thanks for all you have taught me. I now have eight tanks. Sweet. In my 280, what is that?
280
liter. I have a Jack Dempsey, a Threadfin Acara, 3 electric blue Acaras, and an albino Pleco. All got on great. That's cool. I'll get on. Eyes,
we all know. Yeah.
Eyes. You're just going to have to forgive me. It's just one of those things we tolerate when we're watching a live stream is me trying to read live when I can't see. But that's really cool. So 8 tanks. That's awesome. So what I always tell people is you're going to get through phases, right? Phase 1 is, okay, I got these tanks. I get more tanks. I get more tanks. I've got this room. Oh my gosh, I can't get any more because I'm out of space. You might at times be out of horizontal wall space. Some of you might be able to appreciate this, and I'm sure you've encountered this, where you get to a point where you're out of horizontal wall space. That's a sad thing. But then the light bulb goes on. Nothing is going to prevent us from growing our love of the hobby when you know your walls are actually, your ceilings might be 8 feet, 10 feet tall. And you're like, if I plan this right, I can now go vertical. And everything I thought I knew about how many tanks I could have just became exponentially more better. So that's why when us fish nerds, when you really hear a fish nerdy person, you start to hear them say things like, I really love the 33 long because we can triple stack those instead of a 55 gallon. Yeah, it's one of the reasons why us fish nerds really like the 20 gallon longs because they're a little shorter. They're still 20 gallons, but you can stack them up three or four high. So you start to learn these things like, yeah, these shorter, longer tanks, I can stick more of them on top of one another than if I do like 29 gallons or standard 20s or 55 gallons. But that's awesome. I'm so glad that your fish hobby is working out for you. It's pretty cool. Dave from Iowa says, I used to have counter space. Yeah, we used to have counter space too. In the kitchen. And at least for the most part, some of the counter space you took up
we still have some counter space.
Is behind the sink. Except for when you set that tank up and it was sitting on the actual counter, in the usable spot for about 3 weeks. I'm like, it looks so cool. It's like, well, what are you gonna do?
It's only like 2
it gave us an excuse to really keep up with the dishes and be like, okay.
I wanted to be really, really close to them to make sure everybody was okay.
Yeah, I understand.
Sure they knew me.
Who are you talking to over here? It's fine. Mark, thank you for the super chat. I'm new to this, but when do I add shrimp to the tank? Okay, so. Cool. I'm glad you're here. You're in the right place. If you're new to all this stuff, you're hanging out with a bunch of cool people here.
Yep.
And what I love about our peeps who are in the chat and the people who watch our videos is they're very helpful. And that's pretty awesome. So you've got shrimp. Basically, I treat shrimp the same way that I would treat fish in terms of, is my tank ready for them? The nice thing is, in my opinion, it's easier to get the shrimp a tank ready for shrimp because their bioload is so much less typically than fish. So a couple things, again, this goes right back to what we were talking about before. When it comes to shrimp, there are two things you can do to speed up the process and ensure that your tank is healthy for shrimp. And you're not going to get an ammonia spike or nitrite, because that can be really bad on these invertebrates. You do one of two things. One, if you have used filter media, filter floss, a sponge that comes from a different tank, you can add it to that new tank, the filter. Boom, you're probably ready to add some shrimp. So always start slow, start light, especially with shrimp. You can do a half a dozen in like a 10-gallon, and that's not going to give you a very big bioload. If that's not possible, and for a lot of people who are just starting out, it's not, luckily, one of the things that is very popular, I would say especially within the last 3 years or so, is getting live nitrifying bacteria. And so we're sponsored by Fritz Aquatics. They have Fritzzyme 7. That provides the bacteria that are necessary to convert fish and shrimp waste products, ammonia and nitrite, into stuff that's less toxic like nitrate. And then once again, you can add your shrimp pretty much at the same time you're adding the Fritzzyme 7. So those are the two things that I would generally do. If you've got live plants, that can also be helpful, because that stuff, the plants will pull the bad stuff out of the water too. All right, that's what you got. Oh boy.
That's funny. Let's see. Well, there's some suggestions here. All right, so Lisa's Tiny Tanks. I love that name. Remember, cool. I almost called my channel Tiny Tanks TV.
Tiny Tanks TV.
Prime time. Yeah, that would have been really funny.
Yeah.
Anyways, Visco Girls. I think is that okay? Mm-hmm. All right.
That's what Eli said, and I didn't know what that meant.
I don't either.
I hope it's not something
I'm so
bad.
like far out of.
Yeah, please. If that's like a bad word or something, can you let us know? Because we don't want to be saying like bad
I have
like
no idea.
things.
I kind of correlated to like Valley Girls, like back in our day.
Okay.
She was Valley Girl or whatever. I have 3 girls. You need a scrunchie and stickers on it. I would totally
on the bottle itself?
See, and that's funny because I would look at that and be like, well, you could totally put a scrunchie like on top, so you don't have to put it on your wrist,
boy.
like one of these.
Great.
You could put one of these, like, and then you'd know right where it's at. And I would put stickers on anything.
This is getting worse by the moment.
And you could glitter it.
Oh my gosh.
But Aqua Authentica says, I'm a 32-year-old, 300-pound man, and I'd use that water bottle.
Boom!
There we
Hydro
go.
Flask
See?
users unite.
It's a freaking water bottle. There we go.
And it makes the water taste good.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Tastes like
I have a
aluminum.
question.
Yes.
Theo's Wet Pets. What is your favorite Central American cichlid?
Ooh. What is my favorite Central American cichlid? Oh my gosh. That's a great question. Can I just mix the Central with the South? Because the one that, I don't care, the one that really stands out, I mean, the one that I have strong feelings for is the Vieja Argentea. So that is one that I absolutely love. In fact, that fish I just showed off at the OCA, Ohio Cichlid Association. You picking stuff off me? Are you?
Just a hair.
Okay. So I love that one. I really do like Midas cichlids. I think they're amazing. When we had Roger and we still have Ruby, I thought their personalities were absolutely fantastic.
Water puppies.
Yeah, they were really, really cool. I know this sounds weird. I'm still kind of partial to the Honduran red points. They kind of look like convex cichlids, but they have a little bit more color. So those are pretty awesome. I'm trying to think. There's one that's escaping my mind right now that is specifically Central American too, and it's gone. And I'm like, and I'll probably think of it in a few minutes. But they're really, there's so many. There's just so many large South and Central Americans. Do you have a favorite? Or are you just looking at me because you got another funny thing you want?
I've got 2 funny things and a funny story.
All right, let's hear it.
Right. Pine Belt Aquatics says, put some aquarium stickers on it and call it a day. There you go. You're good there. And then this is the way, says, drink from your man with hair bottle. Proudly.
There you go. Man with hair bottle.
Dude with hair.
With hair.
That's cool. Okay.
Yep.
Regina says, my mom was here for Thanksgiving. She counted my tanks and was horrified. We've all been there.
You know,
family members come over and you're like, how many tanks do you have?
What you do for next year is you get so many tanks, people just pass out. They're like, oh, like what happened? I just had this momentary thought that I was in a public aquarium. No, you're still here. That'd be pretty cool. Let's see here. Brislin76, thank you for the super chat. I hope I'm saying that right. What are your thoughts on killifish? Have you done a species profile on them? Why are you looking at me like that?
You should do a species profile on them. That means that I have to get a bunch of them.
Yeah, that would mean that.
I'll help you out.
So, my opinion on them is, one, they look amazing. They are some of the prettiest freshwater fish you will see, which I'm sure is why you're bringing them up, because they are so cool looking. A couple things. We've had clown killies. We've had one or two others. The blue Galaris, I think, is that a killie? Is that a type of killifish? That is one of my favorite all-time fish. But killifish, they do jump. Right, so like Joanna said, get a lid because you will lose them. And I promise you, they will find, if you just leave a small little cutout for a heater, they're going to find it and they're going to be on the carpet. So definitely get a lid. And of course, the other thing is, and I think the reason why I haven't really gotten to them yet is because their lifespan is typically pretty short. So killifish people they're a different sort of fish keeper sometimes because they get really into the killifish eggs. The cool thing is when you buy killifish, you don't necessarily have to buy the fish. You can just buy the eggs, and most killifish breeders know how to ship the eggs and keep them moist so that when you get them back, you can do all the things to rejuvenate them and hatch them out. And then you've got the fish for about a year or so, but then you've got to breed them if you want to keep them. That's a little bit of work that I don't want to get into right now, but can certainly see why there are entire killifish associations, which I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe the Triple Crown is next July in Kentucky. And this Triple Crown is different. This is the Fish Nerd Triple Crown, where you have the American Cichlid Association, the American Live Bear Association, and the American Killifish Association. So all three of those fish groups are having their event in the same place at the same time. I believe it's in Louisville next year. And so, but there's a reason why you've got these big American Killifish Associations, because they're cool fish.
I don't think I could handle the Killifish Association.
Well, I hope so, because the plan is to go there. So, Oink Master Supreme Forever, thank you for the super chat. What were you going to say?
I can wear my Louisville Slugger t-shirt.
Nice. With all my heart and eternal thanks, congrats, Arwen and Gandalf. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Glad you're here. Appreciate it.
Oh, I love it. I always thought that you should be Gandalf for Halloween.
Give it
if
time.
I was a dude and I had a beard, I would totally.
Oh, I don't have a Gandalf beard yet.
Although I'm
it's going to have to get a little longer. And what did you just say? I heard that.
I said I'm taller than you, so I could probably pull off
Gandalf.
Gandalf.
She's not taller than me. She's like the same.
All right,
plus, I shrunk. I mean, all the years of weightlifting compressed my spine like 6 inches or something.
I'm waiting to shrink.
You know what it's like when both your kids are 17 and 14, and now my 14-year-old's towering over me by at least a solid 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches at this point. I was spotting him. He was doing squats today at the gym, and I'm like, all right, I'm seriously looking up at this kid. This is messed up. He just turned 14. That's not cool.
I know.
Yeah. I'm going to start calling him Gigantor. Wait, hold on. Stop calling me that. Why? Why Gigantor?
That's a random little quote.
That's a random movie quote. Let's see.
See.
Jesus M., thank you so much for the super chat. Hello to you too.
Hi.
All right, let's see who gets the quote first.
All right.
Gigantor.
Whips World says, how long before you get that 75-inch TV so you can see that chat, Jason?
You know, yeah.
That would help.
Would help me speak, too. I was at the Ohio Fish Rescue live stream, and I'm not kidding you. That stream, you walk in. First of all, there's like 68 different lights. So you're like, oh, my gosh, okay, let me get used to the lighting first. And then I don't think I ever realized there was a green screen behind him with like all the cool pictures. But no joke, you can sit there, and there is that massive, it's a 75-inch screen, and you can see everything so well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, wow.
Amazing, huh?
Yeah, the words are like this big. I'd
That's the
have
way
to
to do
be.
it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to be really hurting if I couldn't see those words. So,
Imagine.
yeah, it was pretty cool. So I think so. So what you're saying is we should get a 75-inch screen, because if we could make that work right there on that wall. Well, that's where it'd have to be. Yeah.
Yeah, but what you guys don't know is directly behind there is my English cupboard that my sister actually built for me to hold and display my collection of glitter.
So imagine, like, if you were in a kitchen, you saw a giant spice rack. That's basically what we have directly behind everything that, you're looking this way, but on the other wall is...
It's like 8 feet tall.
It's 8 feet tall, and it's probably 5.5 to 6 feet wide. Yeah, and it's just shelves and shelves and shelves of just glitter and homemade handicrafts.
And some little tchotchkes that display and exhibit the color of glitter that it's by.
Someday we'll have to actually do a video where we turn it all around.
I really wanted to do a video of the actual studio because we have a lot crammed into this very small little area.
And you'd have to do some...
I would tidy.
Okay. Just a little bit of tidying. I mean, and this other spot. All right, we got a bunch of people who got it. That was awesome.
Really?
Yeah, we got Night at the Museum by Polly Fox.
Nice.
I saw, Night at the Museum.
Great movie.
It's just boom.
Such a funny movie.
That's good. And I didn't really give you much of a quote, so
no.
Nice job. You want to hear a sad story? So this is all your fault, by the way. So you guys sitting here, I blame you for this. We were talking about Christmas movies last week. And y'all mentioned Gremlins was a Christmas movie. I'm like, yeah, you know what? That's absolutely right. So you know what I did? I went out and I got Gremlins and I got Die Hard 2 because I had to add that because that's a Christmas movie as well. And a couple other movies that had nothing to do with Christmas, but I'm like, I just wanted them. This one over here. I'm like, I just ordered. I told her what I ordered. She's like, we already have Gremlins.
Look, it's right there.
She's like, it's right there. I'm like, oh.
Now he's got 2.
So now I got 2 copies of Gremlins, but this one did come with Gremlins 2. So does anybody know, is Gremlins 2 also a Christmas movie so I can at least justify the purchase and not feel like I wasted my money? So, Killer Kitty Hoy, thank you so much for the $5 sticker. Look at that. Paint and stuff. Thank you.
That's so cute.
Doria, 4 months as a member. That's really cool. Shift Plus makes the comments larger. I'm afraid to do... So is that true on a Mac? Because you know how Macs are different, right? So just confirm for me if that's indeed the case. But I'm afraid to do it because who knows, something could happen in the live stream. All of a sudden the camera goes off or it just ends the live stream. Like, yeah, turns out Shift Plus on a Mac turns the cameras off. Yeah. Victoria Lee Creates says, I got to get the 75-inch. We have to get the 75-inch. So I agree. I'm not going to argue with you on that one.
Right.
Let's see here. Lefty 3213A. Love it. YouTube's finally working again. That's good to hear. Keith, thank you for the super chat. Happy anniversary. Here's to 20 more. By the way, my wife was 4 years and 1 day older than me, and it worked out great. Is the Honduran red point as aggressive as the convict? Would dwarf rainbows survive? I think they would. Yeah, I don't.
Really?
So, to answer your question, I don't remember the Honduran red points being as aggressive as convicts. But it's been a long time since I've kept them too. So from what I can remember, they were a little bit more desirable when it comes to, oh my gosh, these things just bred. It's like that's one of the problems with some of the South and Central American cichlids, especially the larger ones. Once they start to breed, you're like, oh, that's great. I got 30 fry in the first batch. And some of them, like when our Midas cichlids bred, it's like, we got like 800 of these things. What are we going to do with 800 Midas cichlids? There's not a market for that. So we always have to be really careful. And of course, you do some culling and stuff like that. You'll lose some, but I don't remember the Honduran red points breeding quite as much. And I don't remember them being as aggressive. And I also don't remember them getting as large. But again, it's been a long time. So maybe someone who's kept them more recently can either confirm or deny the things I have just said. Greg R., thank you very much for the super chat. Really appreciate it. All right, let's see here. Polly Fox says, I've never watched Speed. Speed, is that the one with Keanu Reeves? When they're in the bus? Yeah.
And
That's been a long time since I've seen that one.
They were little youngsters. And who's the bad guy? What's his name?
I don't remember.
Really?
Although
movie?
One of the movies that I did buy,
here we go.
Demolition Man. That movie is better than I remember. You know how sometimes you see a movie, it's been a while, and it's like, oh, this movie's not anything, not even close to being as good as I remember. Demolition Man was actually funnier than I originally remembered it. Be well, John Spartan. Be well, Lenina Huxley. All right, so Dave says everybody hit the like button. You know you got to listen to Dave because don't make Dave angry. You don't like Dave when he's angry. He can turn into an enormous green rage monster. Movie? You're just throwing them out there.
I'm not going to.
Yeah, but you have to know the exact movie. You can't just say the character. I'm a big fan, and I especially like the way that you turn into an enormous green rage monster when you get angry. And who said it? All right.
Okay, wait.
What?
All right, so Cheryl said, Joanna, I think you showed that cabinet on an old Smallscape video. Yes, that's right, I did. One of the very first ones. It was in the backdrop. Yes. So, yeah, all my glitter stored there. All
right, Tyler threw one at us, a movie quote. I'm actually really bad at movie quotes of movies I don't. Is it Tyler? Hold on.
Yeah,
no, wait, Tyler. It wasn't Tyler. Hold on.
As much as you throw it out.
Who threw the movie? I just saw a movie quote, and then Tyler's thing popped in, and now he's actually got a question about Dropsy. That's not a movie quote. Oh, here we go. Delta Charlie. Here's a Christmas movie quote for you.
Oh.
Grace, when I work late, you work late. If you can't work late, I can't work late. If I can't work late, I can't work late.
Grace?
Yeah, I don't know. Is that so? If it's an older movie, I'm really bad with that because I don't tend to watch a lot of them. Does anybody else know? Because, I'm just not. I can't think of it. All right. While you're thinking, I'm gonna read Tyler's here. What causes pine coning in Betta's besides dropsy? She is eating and pooping properly, is acting totally healthy, and isn't bloated. Been this way for 3+ days. What's happening? So. There's a bunch of stuff that can cause that. You can have intestinal parasites. You can have trapped air. Sometimes females, when they get really, really egg bound, you'll start to see that a little bit. So there can be a lot. But now here's the good thing, I suppose. If your betta is still eating, most likely what I would do is try to start feeding it metronidazole flakes or some type of antibiotic infused. Either metronidazole flakes or an antibiotic-infused flake, because if it's an internal parasite that's causing it and your betta is still eating, that is a good thing. So, yeah, obviously if it's a male, being egg-bound isn't going to be the problem. All right, let's see. Did anybody get the thing? All right, hold on. Ernie, thank you so much for the super chat. Hi, planning a 33 long for pygmy cories. Any recommendations for the scape to ensure they are not shy and instead happy, active through the tank? What say you? Not shy pygmies. So you've probably done a little bit of research.
Yeah.
Wait, is that Emmy or Ernie? Man, my eyes.
Yeah, well, my eyes are really dry too.
Yeah, but wait.
Like extra dry. And I think I seriously think that light is brighter than normal.
It's not brighter than normal.
Emmy.
Sorry. Again,
it looks like it does actually look like Ernie back here. Emmy.
It does when the writing's that big. Oh. I'm gonna have to use anybody confirm, does the shift plus thing actually do something?
Well, for any shy fish, I'd say very heavily planted. Lots of little nooks and crannies for them to hide. Driftwood.
Yeah, but we don't want them to hide. He said he wants them to be active throughout the tank.
Well, if they have plenty of places to hide secure. And feel secure, then I think they just eventually come out.
Yeah, so I agree with you. Yeah. And I think there are two other things, especially in a 33 long, that will help. A big group will sometimes help keep them all just being themselves.
True.
And what I mean in a 33 long, a big group, 15 or 20 of them would definitely be no problem because they don't get very big. And a 33 long is a 4-foot tank. The other thing that will be very helpful for them is if there are dither type fish out there. So you've got your open water fish that are not shy. So if you've got a group of, 15 to 20 of some type of, maybe cherry barbs or, probably not 15 to 20 dwarf neon rainbows, but if you had maybe 10 of those or something that's just going to be out there, right? Even guppies or endlers, they're a little crazy active. The pygmies are going to be like, oh, all right, well, there's really no reason to be afraid. All those fish are out there enjoying life. I'm going to go out here and enjoy life too. And plus, there's a big group of us, so we're all hanging out and playing and having fun. So that's kind of how I would handle it. So it's not as much a scape thing, although I do agree, fish tend to like to interact with wood and rocks and plants, especially pygmy cories, because they tend to be more open water. And we see ours a lot just kind of resting on the leaves of plants and resting on top of rocks. Like, this is a pretty fun place. I can see really everything from here. So,
all right, Greg R. Picking up a 75-gallon tank for my living room. Sweet.
Oh, nice.
And I have no idea what I want to stock. I like the idea of large schools of small, colorful fish, but not guppies. Suggestions? By the way, Lethal Weapon, Christmas.
Yes, it is. We're here with that one for sure. I mean, my gosh, he goes to a Christmas tree yard to make a bust. And when they plow the car into the house, they plow right through the Christmas tree. And they say, well, no, it's Happy Birthday, Raj, not Merry Christmas, Raj. And
it is the same house that the filming was done.
I don't care what anybody says. It's not true.
Yes, of the Griswold's neighbor, like Elaine and whatever they're Todd and Margot.
Thank you. Okay.
Todd and Margot live in the same house that the Murtaugh family. Yes.
They say that
it's the same house, the same set.
Wait, were you answering a question?
Oh, yeah. So anyways, picking up a 75-gallon. What to stock it with? Not guppies, but colorful schooling fish.
Love it. And go ahead.
Green neons.
Green neons. Oh my gosh, green neons. That is a pretty cool fish. I really like that. I like the idea. We've done that now a couple times with larger tanks, having a lot of smaller fish. You just kind of get that underwater sort of vibe going where it's peaceful and you've just got these fish hanging out. So 75-gallon. Let's see. You could, if you want to go really small, and you got to be careful because if you go really, really small, you need a lot of fish. I mean, you can go tiny. Like, for instance, we had the Mira rasboras. I made the mistake of putting, I think it was only 6, maybe 10 in a 55. Huge mistake. Yeah. Not because they aren't amazing fish. It's because they were so tiny. That small group, and they tend to hang out together fairly tightly. They were hard to see. So if I were doing something like really small, like some of the smaller rasboras, I would get like 20 of them.
The smallest schooling fish is the dwarf rasbora, I believe.
Or the dwarf emerald?
No.
Or just the straight up dwarf?
Dwarf rasbora.
Okay.
Chili rasbora is really, really pretty red, though.
Those are really pretty. They stay very, very small. Obviously, at that point, when you're going really small, now all your fish have to be small. So if that were the case, it's like, yeah, you can do cory cats. So you could do a group of those. So pick your favorite. I really like the orange lasers.
Get a big pile of them. Oh, they're so fun to watch.
Yeah, the orange lasers are really pretty. You could do... You could go really small, like exclamation point rasboras, dwarf emerald rasboras, celestial pearl danios, but do big groups, like 20 of each. In a 75, trust me, you are going to have plenty of space for other things. You could do the green neons with that group of fish, I think. It gives you a little bit of striking color from a distance. The thing is, that if you go that small, you're going to be extraordinarily limited on even the honey gourami. I don't know if I would trust a honey gourami around some of those smaller fish. I think at some point the honey gouramis would be like, those really tiny little fish you put in here, I'm pretty hungry. I feel my stomach growling. My little feelers are just
That's right. Hey,
getting
buddy.
a little weak.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah. So if you want to go slightly larger, then go with the neon types, right? The black neons, the greens, the standards. And then those fish, then you can do like a dwarf gourami or maybe do half a dozen honey gouramis or something like that. But the schooling fish, your small tetras, your rasboras, I think when people are looking for schooling fish, I personally have found the rasboras to be better schoolers than tetras. Tetras tend to shoal a little bit more, but yours are actually doing a pretty good job. Your greens and your 20 long tend to stay together pretty tightly.
They're good boys and girls.
Scrooged from Bill Murray, with Bill Murray. I guess that was one of the
that's
the
a
quotes.
funny movie.
Yep.
That's so funny.
Yep, that's gosh, we don't add that to the rotation.
Yeah,
no, why don't you check first before
really
I go
funny.
and order?
Carol Kane always whacking them.
Yep.
And the Ghost of Christmas Past really reminds me of Bob the Betta.
Bob the Betta, huh?
Yeah, very similar.
That's
Lefty 3213. Are you the Lefty?
Yeah, I was just gonna say I think that is the Lefty.
Yeah. Hey, Lefty. Demolition Man, amazing movie.
Yeah, I thank you. It just is. If you haven't seen it, Don't watch around kids because
fun.
they do have some swears in it. But that's about as bad as it gets. But it is a very funny movie.
Zach guessed Avengers. We got some
Boom.
Avengers.
Okay, Avengers for the enormous green rage monster.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Iron Man tells him. Lilibet. Right?
Lilibet.
Am I saying that right? Because my eyes. All the L's and the I's all kind of run together. So thank you very much for the super chat. All you're missing is a big scrunchie. Oh, here we go. Thanks. On your wrist to be an official Visco girl, Jason. Big fan of your videos, Joanna. Well, could somebody please explain to me what that even means? Nobody explained what the VSCO girl actually is. Like, is that a certain person? Is that stand for something? Is
that terrible where you have to see something like a
symbol out
commonly used like
you're gonna have to Google it or something, but then I just hope it's not like a.
It's like when you see a group or a performing artist go on TV and you're like, oh, who is that?
Yeah, it's getting to that point. Yeah. Regina, thank you so much for the super chat. Wow, thank you. Happy 20th anniversary. Don't spend towards a bike mod, Jason. That's not, by the way, that's not me you have to worry about. It's her, because we've been going to the motorcycle stores, and it's this one over here who's sitting on all the bikes lately. It isn't me, because I got my own. But thank you so much. Really appreciate it. JD Cichlids, thank you for the super chat. If you could have one and only one 90-gallon tank in your home, minus a small quarantine tank, all right, now we're thinking, which fish would you keep in a 90?
Wow.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
So there are a few that come to mind. So for those of you who don't know what a 90-gallon looks like, it's a unique tank because it's the same length and width as a 75-gallon. So it's a 4-foot tank, 18.5 inches wide, but it is much taller than a 75. So you got that extra 15 gallons. I shouldn't say much taller, but if a 75 gallons like 21, 22 inches, the 90's got to be what, 24-ish, somewhere in there. So it's a taller tank. So a tank like that would lend well to angelfish. That's the first thing that pops into my mind are angelfish because they would really like that height. So I might do some veil tails in there. So we're looking for fish that will use that height. I don't know if I would do discus because I still feel like I want to keep discus in a 6-foot tank because of their overall size when they're full grown. So I might still stay away from the discus in a 90, but angels, you got anything you do in a 90? Besides green neons?
Oh gosh. You'd have to give me some time because that would be my
Yeah, and I think with the 90, your angels are kind of mid, they'll go everywhere, but they're open water-ish. And then for sure, I do my marble hatchets at the top because it's such a tall tank. I just think either that, marble hatchets or the half beaks. I really like the half beaks. They're live bearers. They get about, 4 inches long, but they're skinny. They imagine just like a Florida gar, only this big. So they're really cute. Something at the top to do that, and then I'd have my Cory cats at the bottom.
Yeah, I do discus.
You would do discus?
Maybe.
Well, yeah, because she's starting to get into this whole thing. Luckily we have that RO system, but I can see us converting one of our tanks to a softer water tank at some point. But that's what I would do. So.
Although Severum, I'm a big sucker for Severum.
Oh, that's still only a 4-foot tank.
Yeah.
But it can be done. I mean, we've got Severums in the 150, and that's a 4-foot tank, and they've done well for years. So, okay, yep. We just have to figure out the situation in case you get a pair, because once you get a pair, it's over there. Yep. All right, let's see here. Is this G-Keys? Am I saying that right? Come on now. I think I'm really going to have to just...
G-Keys.
Thank you so much for the super chat. What's going on? Nothing. What's happening with you? Finally home for a live stream. Yes.
Woohoo.
Glad to have met y'all in Dallas at Aquashella. Y'all are such cool people. No question to ask. Just want to support the channel. Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate you being here. Glad to have met you in Dallas. And that will be coming up next year. That Dallas is in August next year.
Crazy.
So it'll be warmer than it was last time.
Right.
But looking forward to it. Yeah, we didn't really talk about where we're going to be. We're going to be at the GCCA swap next Sunday, the 12th. And then after that, I think the next thing is going to be Orlando, Aquashella, which is in February. Yep. So it'll be cool. Midori, thank you very much for the super chat. Not sure if it works the same for Mac, some are saying Command Plus.
Oh.
I'm going to try it out.
Yeah, try it out.
But I don't want to try it out now. So what I'm going to do is next week, maybe write this down in your book of ideas, because your book of ideas is open right now. So Command Plus, next week, before the live stream actually starts, we've got everything running, I'm going to hit Command Plus, and I'm going to see if the chat gets any larger so that I can actually read it, so people don't have to be like, man, there he goes again. Mispronouncing the names, squinting, give myself a headache.
We're going to go to Costco and get you some glasses.
You
love Costco. You love Costco. Just go to a different area where they have glasses.
I don't know about all that. That sounds really complicated. Who wants to do that?
You too could have glare in your glasses.
Yeah, right? She gets so mad at me because in some of the videos, I'll be like, you got to take your glasses off. The glare on this one's too bad. She's like,
I can't see.
But then I can't see. I'm like, well, then we have to mess around with the lights. Otherwise, you just look like your whole eyeballs are glowing. Eve, thank you very much for the super chat. At Shirley says, on a Mac, it is Command Plus to increase size. I tried it and it worked.
Well.
Sweet. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm going to do it. I promise. Next week, it's going to happen. For sure.
All right, I've got a really cool question.
All right.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
This is from Reppy6583. Hey guys, love the vids. What are your thoughts on a 55 with all male guppies? Kind of like a betta sorority, but male guppies instead. Do you foresee any problems?
Lots of people do it. You're going to get a bunch of action, a ton of color.
Yeah.
So that'll be good. I'm assuming you just don't want to deal with the mating and the breeding and the babies that come from the guppies, because the other thing you can do is just start out with, I don't know, a dozen and do like 8 females and 4 males, or even 3 males and 9 females, and let them fill up the tank for you. But if you're just looking for like crazy color, you want to see the fins, sure, you can do it. Lots of people have done it. You could, in a 55-gallon, you could easily, I mean, once the tank is cycled and, you know, you're adding slowly, but you could get to a point and just see what, I don't know, 30 or 40 look like in a 55-gallon. You're going to get a lot of action. I mean, when we had the guppy party tank in there, because they were breeding like crazy, we had a time where we were in between swaps and stuff, and we had way more in there than anybody would keep long term, but there were a lot, and it was crazy to see that kind of coloration and movement. Guppies are nonstop action. It's one of the cool things about them. Like Master Supreme Forever says, I have a 70-inch Mitsubishi 3D TV complete with 3D glasses.
Oh boy.
Roku hooked up. You've got a sweet setup here. Roku is hooked up to it and made a smart TV. You both, the whole chat be looking anniversary fabulous in 3. Wait, we're 3D right now?
Really?
Like you're watching us in 3D? Because that would be crazy.
I'm sorry to hear that for you.
Slam Boy, Rummy Nose, boom, yeah, in some of those tanks. Yeah, that's actually a really good suggestion. Yeah, the Rummy Nose would be cool.
Actually, yeah, that's a really great suggestion. There was a tank at Aquatica that had Rummy Nose.
I don't know if I noticed it.
It's right in the entrance. I was watching it for a long time.
Oh, all those tanks. I forgot to totally look at those. And those are some great tanks, because I have the Philippine Blue Angels in there, I believe. And I noticed the tanks. Aquatica Aquarium Gallery is what we're talking about. It's outside of Cleveland, Ohio. Great fish store. They got really great ones. We talked about Agno Aquatics last week, and then Aquatica Aquarium Gallery. Those are 2 really good ones. Something Fishy's out there too. That's a good one. But yeah, they've got a group of display tanks when you walk in the door. And I remember the first time I went there, I spent some time looking at them. And this time I got distracted and I went in there, and then I forgot to look at those tanks. So there were Rummy Nose in there. Yeah, Rummy Nose are cool fish.
They've grown on me over time, and there's different kinds of Rummy Nose too.
There are. And someday soon, you guys will see those other types of Rummy Nose in a video. Yep. Rams is 10 Ember Tetras in a 55-gallon. Okay. Heck yeah, it is. You could do...
They'll be really
So
cramped.
depending on what... Yeah, right. Don't listen to her. Depending on what other fish you have in that tank. So if you're just starting out, you're thinking, okay, what do I want to do? Do more. Do more than 10 Ember Tetras, because they're amazing fish. And in a 55-gallon, you could go 30. And again, 30, keeping in mind if we're starting from a blank slate, but 30 would be a very reasonable number. 10's good. 10's fine, but they're amazing fish for sure. 10 is a very workable number, but the more the better.
Wait, It wasn't a 5.5, was it?
This is 55 right there.
I'm just
checking.
Oh
yeah, there's a 5. Yeah, put 30 in a 5.5. No, don't do that. Don't put them in a 5.5. But a 55, yeah, it's cool stuff.
Mary Page said, "Did you give a shout out already to our
wonderful
mods?"
I'm sorry, I didn't. Thank you, wonderful mods. Mary Page back in the house. Glad you're here, hanging.
Yes.
Yep. Killer Kitty 08's here, and Wendy's here. Dave's here.
Dave's
from Iowa.
from here. Yep. And we've got the one, the only Finn Wiggles, the Finn WIG. All right, so Mary Page said, "I know the feeling, Jason, and sorry everyone for my misspellings. I can't hardly see it all anymore." Yeah, I know.
See, that's great.
Welcome
We're
to
going
the
to
club.
start a little mini club inside of our awesome primetime
Blind
group
fish
here.
keepers?
We've got here is fish keepers that don't see so good no more. Fish keepers that don't see so good no more.
Yep, I'll be the
Spell
president.
that one out because I won't remember what I said. Dave from Iowa, question. Do you ever go to the Quad Cities swap, and what's it like? Because I haven't been out there, and I heard the Quad Cities swap is pretty cool, and I'd like to check it out sometime. It's kind of a drive for us, but might be worth it. I don't know if we bring fish because that'd be a long drive. Let's see here. Ooh, Matt's got a good question. What are your opinions on Pictus catfish? Well, let me just tell you a thing or two about the Pictus catfish. They seem to be a lot more popular back in the 90s and the early 00s, and I haven't seen them as much. And the reason for that is, one, you're better off keeping them in a group. Two, they are insane. And so I think what attracts people to them is they're basically Synodontis, and they're Synodontis-like. Are they the Synodontis genus? I know the upside-down cats are. I don't remember if the Pictus. Can you look that up? What is the genus for Pictus cats? But I thought they were Synodontis. Maybe I'm wrong. But anyway, they're really cool. They're super hyper. They will eat smaller fish, and they are very fast, so smaller fish are going to be potentially an issue, so keep that in mind. They will often outcompete other fish for food, so you want to make sure the other fish in your tank are active and can keep up with them. They can also be, from my recollection, a little bit fin nippy if it's just a straight-up community tank. But
Pimmelatus.
what is it?
The genus is Pimmelatus.
All right, so I was absolutely wrong about the genus being Synodontis, so that's not true. But anyway, I like them. I think they're cool looking, but you definitely want a larger tank. I would say at least a 4-foot tank, at least a 75-gallon, because they're so active. Keep them in a group, and just make sure that you've got fish that are not going to mind the activity, and keep up with them a little bit. Matt says Synodontis petricola. Synodontis petricola are really cool. Yep. We've got a bunch of Synodontis dwarf petricola in our fish room, like a bunch of them that are just thrown in random tanks. At one point, I picked up like 10 or 12, and I just threw them in various African cichlid tanks, and even maybe a couple of small Central American semi-aggressive, and they've worked out really well. So love them. Really cool. Yep, Rex, he corrected us, which is great. Finn Wiggles, only 9 to go at Dave from Iowa. Oh, likes. Yeah, again. Dave wants you to punch that like button right in the head. Just haul off. It's going to be therapeutic. It's like, bam! All right, I took care of it. It's over. It's done. They did it. Let's see here. What?
You know what Amanda said?
What did Amanda say?
In Europe, they have bred discus that can handle hard water. I think George Farmer has that variety.
I have heard that, and I think that's where people are seeing them from. I have heard all of those stories, and that's kind of exciting. Was that a German-bred strain? Because they're doing some cool things with cichlids in Germany, from what I understand. Yeah. Joshua says, hey, new to the hobby here. Well, glad you're here. Thanks for being here. Just got a free 75-gallon bow front tank, and I am in the process of making it an African cichlid tank. Any suggestions for cleaners besides cory cats? Yeah, cory cats would not be a good mix for your African cichlids, so that's good that you're trying to think of other suggestions. So, and that could be where people are talking about Synodontis cats. So in a 75-gallon, it's probably 75 or 72-gallon bow front. It's a good size for cichlids. The one thing you might want to consider is often when people are thinking about cichlids, usually the cichlid tank is an African cichlid tank, and they're talking about cichlids from Lake Malawi, which generally means you've got your Mbuna and you have your peacock cichlids. if you are newer to the hobby and you're thinking about doing a 75-gallon African cichlid tank, stay away from the peacocks for right now. And they're beautiful fish, but my experience has been that the peacock cichlids the males actually tend to be much harder on one another than Mbuna cichlids. And I know that's going to sound weird because a lot of people are like, Mbuna cichlids, I heard they're so aggressive. They're actually not, in my opinion, not as aggressive and not as hard to keep when you compare them to peacock cichlids, especially in that size tank, because you're still looking at a tank that's only about, 4 feet long, and peacock cichlids, a lot of them get a little bit larger, and they do want their space. So if I were setting up that 72 or 75-gallon bull front, I would probably do a mix. I'm doing African cichlids, and I'm doing it from Lake Malawi. I would do the Mbuna. I would consider maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 yellow labs, maybe about the same number of rusty cichlids, and probably the same number of Pseudotropheus psiloci. So you're up to, I don't know, maybe 15 of those, and possibly even some red zebra cichlids. But I would ideally want to make sure I've only got one male there, because the nice thing is the males and females, they both get this really deep orange. Then I think you've got a pretty good mix. Obviously, you're going to add those fish slowly because you don't want to have a cycling issue. Now, to answer your specific question, the one you actually wanted to know about, your cleanup crew, I have found the best cleanup crew for me in a tank like that are bristlenose plecos. They're going to search for food at the bottom. They're going to take care of the algae on the glass and stuff for the most part. You may run into a thing where you have to feed them at night because Mbuna cichlids are very, very, very aggressive eaters. They are the most aggressive eaters we have in our fish room. Mm-hmm. And the bristlenose plecos we have in there have no chance of getting food when I throw the food in there. So it'd be one of those things we'd probably want to drop some kelp wafers, some algae wafers in after the lights go off to feed them. But I think the bristlenose plecos work out well. If you're into catfish, the dwarf petricola work well. We've done that mix before. But bristlenose will be more useful. Hi.
All right, Logan says, I have a 55 and a 75, but I have 2 10-gallons just sitting around. Any suggestions on a fun idea for one of them?
I like that you said one of them, because I was going to suggest the other one. You know what I was going to suggest? Do you know what I was going to suggest? No. I bet they do. All right, so hold on. Here's a quiz. Here's a quiz just to see who's paying attention. You didn't know you were getting a quiz tonight, but here it is. Are you ready? Write this down. I'll give you a minute to get your notebook out. 55 and a 75. There are 2 10-gallon tanks laying around. What do you all think I was going to say for at least one of those 10 gallons? What do you think its purpose should be? Here you go. Let's see what the... Oh, boom. I don't even think I was... Oh, my gosh. Wow. I'm pretty sure because there's a delay, people were answering the heck out of that question before I ever spit it out.
True.
Amanda's like, quarantine. Midori, yep. Hospital tank. Boom. Okay, awesome. And I'm sure that was... Yep. Emily Sump. You could do that too. You could do that too. Definitely. Yep. Quarantine tank. So I love that. Wait, who asked the question?
Logan.
I'm sure Logan's like, yeah, that's why I said one of them.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I love it. I love that we're there. So you new people should have a quarantine tank. Once you've got a fish tank established, you don't want to be taking fish from a pet store and dumping them right into your established tank. It's a really dangerous way to introduce fish disease. A simple 10-gallon tank. You can get like a 10-gallon on sale at PetSmart with a filter and the heater and a cheap light. Sometimes they're like 30 or 40 bucks. Just set it aside. Be like, I'm going to need that someday.
So what would you put in it?
So to answer the actual question.
Yeah, I know what I would put in there.
All right, well then you say the thing.
I think a fun idea would be 2 pea puffers.
So a pair, a male and a female pair?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's certainly a thing. You could do a male and a female pair. And that's it?
It's just my first thought.
Okay.
It would revolve around that right there. Sparkling gourami would be really fun. Of course, ember tetras, really fun. A lot of color in there. Have some pygmy cories.
Yeah, you could do pygmy cories in a 10. If I were doing a 10, what would I do?
White clouds. You could do white clouds.
Yeah. I would. So if I were doing a 10-gallon, I don't know. So Celestial Pearl Daniels, I think would be cool. So
sure,
yeah, you could do like 10 of those in a 10-gallon, along with your pygmy Cory cats. Maybe a mystery snail or two in there to do the algae control. So that would be something I would consider. What else in a 10-gallon?
How about lamp eye reservoirs?
Oh, thank you.
Or glow lights?
Yeah, no, I want the lamp eyes. Yeah, so also do like 10 or 12 lamp eye reservoirs with the same, half a dozen pygmy Cory cats and a couple mystery snails. Boom. Yeah, I like it.
Bam.
That's my final answer, the lamp eyes. I'm glad you thought about those. We were just talking about those the other day. I'm like, we never talk about the lamp eye reservoirs anymore. You had them in your 12 long, and they were so pretty. Get the blue eyes.
Pretty.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, so pretty.
By the way, we missed a little super chat here. Wayne's Aquatics, thank you so much.
You.
Have you ever kept Pandagara? Ernest is good. Pandagara, I have not. Yes, but it was a long time ago, and I don't actually remember having a terribly great success rate with them, and I don't know why. And it's been a really long time, so it would be hard for me to actually think back and be like, oh yeah, this is probably what we did wrong. They're cool fish. They are cool fish. They're very not aggressive for the most part, but I don't have a lot of information, unfortunately. But thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. All right. So we missed this one too. So you want to go ahead and read that one?
G. Keys. Okay. Hey guys, my wife actually has a question. How exciting. All right. Can you add frosted blue German rams or even electric blue German rams in a tank with pea puffers?
And he says it's G. Keys.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
I did that first.
All right. Let me think about that. Rams with pea puffers. Do we know the size of the tank? Size of the tank is going to matter a lot. My first inclination is I probably would not. And I think the reason I wouldn't is pea puffers are generally fairly slow. And when it comes to eating, they're going to want their snails, usually. I see a potential because often what we did when we fed our pea puffers is you would crush the snails up first and chuck them in. And I see the rams being like, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And the poor pea puffers are going to be like, dude, for real, I'm not getting any food here. So I think that would be if that would be my main reason. I don't think the rams would necessarily eat the pea puffers because the rams don't get that huge, but I would be worried about feeding them. So that would be my hesitation.
Yeah, and that's a big stressor too when they're all fighting for the same food.
Yeah. And pea puffers, they eat so slow compared to other fish.
They're very timid, so they'll want to go, but then they won't. And they want to go, and they won't. So yeah.
Yeah. So I would probably not do it if it were me. Let's see here. Wendy says might have missed out, or might have missed. But Joanna, what glitter do you recommend for me to accent my Primetime Aquatics Christmas shirt? I am near a Michael's and Joann's. Oh, here we go.
Well, you can use any glitter and Mod Podge. Believe it or not, it will actually wash pretty well. I always wash it inside out. In a pinch, you can use Stickles. Love Stickles. It's the best glitter glue, but it will wash right off. But it just comes off in the wash and you're good. So if you're ever walking out of the house and you're like, dang it, I wish I had a sparkly shirt, and your shirt's not sparkly, there you go. You can also do iron-on rhinestones. That's amazing. And even if you don't have the special heat gun or the double-sided flat-backed rhinestones, you can use E6000 glue. There you go. There's lots of options. I actually almost had a bedazzled option for the shirts. At some point, there will be a bedazzled option for like all two of you that maybe want one.
Yeah, she's not kidding. She bedazzles a bunch of stuff.
I do. That's what I do.
Joe says angels and cribs in a 55. Yeah, I think so. I'm trying to think. Yeah, we had those mixed before in a 75. We had at one point a group of koi angels, and we also had a group of cribs. They basically ignored one another. So the male cribs would pay attention to the female cribs, and the angels, yeah, they ignored one another. So it would be a combo that I would certainly try. Cribs aren't particularly aggressive. Angels aren't going to try to chase those cribs around. So yeah, it'd be probably a pretty cool combo. pretty cool, I would say. What do you think? We'll answer a few more questions here, and we will let people get to their night. Bernard says, can I breed discus in a 125 gallon? For sure. I know people who breed them in much smaller tanks. So, I mean, just if they're focused on breeding, they've just got a pair anyway, and they're putting in the breeding cone. A lot of people in our fish club will breed them in like 40 breeders, and then eventually they get larger and they move them out. But if they're just trying to breed a pair for a while. But a 125, definitely. Faux show.
Tamara says glitter is my favorite color. I agree, and I have a pin that says it.
I was going to say, that sounds familiar.
Because you look at it all day.
Okay.
It's
Wait,
a
I
little
do?
pin that's right up there, yeah.
See, more stuff in the back wall that you can't see. Trust me, it's
a
probably a good
motto.
thing. It's a great motto. Yeah. Shannon, thank you for the super chat.
Thank you,
Happy
Shannon.
anniversary, you guys. We love both of your channels. Thank you for the great information you share with all of us. Have a drink on us when you go out and celebrate. By the way, we love our Christmas shirts. Well,
thank
you.
Glad.
Thank
I
you
hope
very much.
Ryan's wearing his as well.
Yeah, you guys could match like us, and we're just like a couple of matching couples. Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. Thank you. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Aqua Authentica. Can you crash a freshly cycled tank by not adding fish soon enough? Not necessarily. You could crash it, no, because what you're doing is, okay, if you're adding some source of ammonia or fish food or some kind of something to get the ammonia started, you're going to have microbes that grow to your bioload. If you stop that process and then add the fish, could you run into an ammonia spike? Yeah, you could do that. If you continue that process, you're probably going to be fine. But again, what we want to do once that tank is cycled, you just want to add fish slowly. So I don't care what you're using, whether it's Fritzheim 7, use filter media, or you're doing like I'm using the fish food, or I'm adding a little bit of ammonia to the tank. However you're doing it, the next step is, a lot of people, I think what mistake a lot of people make is they think, oh, my tank is now cycled, therefore I can go ahead and just put all the fish in. And no matter what you've done, unless you've basically taken all the media, all the rocks, all the plants, all the substrate from a previous tank and maybe put it in a slightly larger one, that's generally not going to work. So the key is, no matter how you cycled your tank, just patience, add slowly, and that is going to increase your success rate tremendously.
Keith said that glitter would work really well on your aquaflex.
I just knew when you looked at me. Oh, this is just great. When you looked at me and laughed, and Keith is saying something, I'm thinking this has got something to do with my hydro flask.
But you know what? I was looking at it too because I could see the little dude like logo on there, and I was thinking if that was just glittered just a little bit, that would look adorable.
Oh,
and you could even put like a little like glittery like bow.
I'm not putting glitter on my hydro flask. Just not happening.
Just adhesive vinyl. It'll come right
Manes,
off.
tails, furs, and fins.
Hey,
Hi, y'all.
Jess.
Sorry I'm late. Glad you're here. It's okay to be late. Whips World, thank you for the super chat. I missed the first 15 minutes, but it sounds like someone's celebrating their anniversary, so let me be the 97th person to wish you a happy anniversary. Well, thank you very much.
Aww.
The 97th person is every bit as important as person number 1. Aqua Authentica became a primetime partner, primate, prime timer. Thank you. Glad you're here. Hanging with the crazy group of cool people. Yep. We're all the crazy fish people.
We are crazy.
Let's see here. Emily Watts says, my tiger lotus has leaves up to the top. Or should I add more cover?
That's what they do. Tiger lotus does that.
Yeah, I don't think you need to add more, right? More cover? No, I think you're good. All right, everybody. I think we're going to call it a night because it seems to be about that time.
Yeah.
Thank you once again for all the happy anniversary wishes and the super chats and the prime timers coming on board and the stickers and our moderators, Mary and Finn Wiggles and Dave and Wendy and everybody else who was here and Oink Master and all the other people that were holding down the fort. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Manes, tails, furs, and fin. Thank you for the little cake sticker. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much. So we'll be back next Wednesday at 8 p.m. and I think we're going to have a subject next week. We're going to talk about
have like a really juicy subject.
All right, we're going to have a juicy subject. If you guys have any suggestions for a juicy fish subject, don't put it in this chat because this thing's going to end in like 2 seconds. But you can put it in the comments section of the video after it goes live, and just say, hey, this is a juicy subject that we need to talk about when it comes to fish. So yeah. But thank you for being here. Thank you for everybody. Hope we got all the super chats. If we didn't, I would feel horrible, but I think we did. If we asked a question we didn't get to answer it, ask it next week. Write your questions down. Be ready next week, and we'll answer them to the best of our ability. Appreciate you being here. We will see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Do, 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 do.